Big part of my work is talking about the human mind. I even wrote a book about it called Cheat Code. And, we're very programmable. You can program anything.
So how do we defend against that?
We have to wake up. We have to learn that our thoughts aren't necessarily us. Our emotions aren't us. We have to just be watchers and look really closely and understand that, when it comes to health, we're being scammed. I mean, we're really, really being scammed at a high level. And that's why I wrote Medical Monopoly. This is the book that I'll probably be known for a few generations, even though I have 10 books. But this is the one because it'll be passed around because it's a wake up call. It breaks down the entire medical system and how they are scheming us, and how we're programmed that we're programmed to look at our white coat as an authority figure. My doctor said that, you're at the family barbecue and, you're sitting there and talking to Auntie Jane or whoever. And she's like, my doctor says it's genetic. And you're like, well, my doctor says, yeah, the doctor says this, I got to get on this pill. And it's like, you sit there and you have doctor conversations. And when you're a kid, you got to get a doctor's note to get out of school or now they have mental health days. Uh, you know, I remember when I was a teenager, there was a big show on TV called ER.
I remember that.
And when it ended, it was like this big finale, right? And then the next week, there's a new show called Chicago Hope. And then after that, it's Grey's Anatomy. Like, there's always a doctor show on television. We are constantly being programmed. And if you watch really, really closely, you will notice that it's all emergency room based, usually. And so what they do is they promote doctors as heroes in the emergency room, which can absolutely be accurate, but that's not your primary care physician.
How did you get interested in helping people and helping people heal in particular?
Well, I was in radio and television for many years, and
In what capacity?
I was a professional radio personality and dabbled with television, and I did that for 12 years. If you count college, 16 years. You could have never told 16-year-old Kevin or 26-year-old Kevin that he would be a healer, a doctor, or anything like that. I mean, it just wouldn't. It wouldn't have made any sense.
So you weren't doing shows on health in particular. You were just doing regular, like, entertainment kind of shows?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Trying to be the next Howard Stern or something. This wasn't in the plan. And then one day I started. My health was deteriorating, and when I went to the medical system, it just took a few times, but eventually the light bulb went off. And I remember asking the technician because they were doing all these tests on my heart and all this stuff. I was in my late 20s, and I remember asking one of the technicians, like, how much does this machine cost? It's like, oh, 2 million. I'm like, how many people need to come through here to make the money back? And it just started clicking. And once the epiphany happened, I got, the fear hit pretty severely because then it was like, wow, we have to save ourselves. Unless it's an emergency. If it's something chronic, you got to save yourself. So I just started studying, and next thing you know, I'm in school. And next thing you know, I'm quitting entertainment. And next thing you know, I have a PhD. And next thing you know, I have clients. And it just happened.
So when you said that you went into fear when you were going through the medical system in your late 20s, what was it that you were fearing? What was it that was your epiphany? And what was it that you were fearing as far as long term?
I thought that, like most people, the doctor was like a mechanic and my body was like a car. And it's like, when something goes wrong, you go to the doctor and then you just listen to what they say. And when I realized that was not true, it was scary. And I just realized that we have to do it ourselves
How did you realize that that wasn't true, that the doctor was gonna be able to help you?
because he didn't have any answers. He even said one time, he said, because I was asking a lot of questions about my heart, he was like, Kevin, do we have to open your heart to find out? Is that what you want?" And I'm just like, wow.
Huh. Was he a cardiologist or was he your GP?
He was primary care.
Okay. So, did he send you to a cardiologist?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
did the cardiologist answer your questions for you?
No, no, not really. Because I was trying to figure out why and this, that, and the other. And the answers were just constantly genetic and hereditary, genetic and hereditary. And so, of course, I believed it at first. And, my dad had open heart surgery at 47. His dad died on the table, surgery at like 52. So they're pumping fear into me, you know what I mean? At the time, I'm in my late 20s, and it's like, well, at the time I'm talking to you, I'm 45, and, I have had scans, I'm clean, it's like, I don't know about this. But, uh, yeah, I just figured out we have to take it into our own hands. And, sometimes you hire a little help to guide you, such as people hire us or come into our membership, or, somebody that needs help with something may hire you. Like sometimes we need a little guidance, but the white coats have no guidance. they, they got drugs, injections, and surgeries, and that's it. So if you don't want drugs, injections, or surgeries, you're in the wrong place.
What ended up being the cause, and how did you heal your body when you were having those heart issues, and what were your symptoms?
I was having chest pains, panic attacks, all that type of stuff. Plus, I was, overweight, and then eventually my body started breaking down too from being on the computer for all these years. I mean, the cause is we're right back to head to toe healing in those three factors. It's always, it's nutrition, posture, the mind. It's some sort of combination always of that. And I'm sure my lymphatic system wasn't moving good, and I'm sure my gut wasn't good, and I'm sure, I had gray hair at 22. So I'm obviously nutritional deficiencies, and, they don't know any of that. So,
Mhm. We didn't talk about the mind, we talked about the posture, and we talked about the food. Tell us about the mind.
yeah, there's an onboard computer in our skull, and it connects to two cameras, and we got a speaker in the mouth, right? And it connects to the spine. And so the spine is like a circuit breaker, and it connects to everything else through nerves. So, if you have a pain in your left foot, could be coming from the mind. There's no way to know for sure, but that's the beauty of head to toe healing. It doesn't matter. You just work on all three at the same time, no matter what.
So, let's use that as an example since you brought it up. Somebody's got a pain in their left foot, and you say it could be coming from the mind. Walk us through what the protocol would be, or what you would suggest somebody do to help alleviate that pain.
Well, we would go after the nutrition, go after the posture. And then as far as the mind goes, we would have them start talking to their subconscious mind and start working on that and alleviating any fear or guilt or shame or whatever it is that's going on. It's a deep detoxification process. So there's a lot going on in the basement of your mind.
Can you give us the cliff notes of, okay, I got a pain in my left foot. I need to talk to my subconscious. How do you do that? What are you exploring? What are you asking? What are the give us like an example of the revelations that would be perhaps identified, and then what happens after that?
Yeah, so we nickname the inner child. We nickname the subconscious mind an inner child.
Mhm.
So by doing that, you now have something that you can console and nurture. And if you talk to your inner child in a comforting way, you can start releasing that data, as I like to refer to it as, because that's what's in there. It's a bunch of data, a bunch of stored memories and stuff like that. This is where PTSD comes from. If somebody was in the Vietnam War or something like that, and 30 years later they can be there again and actually feel it all over again. It's all stored in the subconscious mind or the inner child. So it's tedious. So it's not for everyone because a lot of people want the magic pill, but you got to sit there and you got to nurture your inner child just like you were nurturing your 2-year-old self. And it can be emotional.
So do you have a protocol of worksheets or something to help uncover what those memories are that are causing trauma and then pain in the body? And are you finding that there's normally an emotional component before any kind of medical condition arises?
Yeah, yeah. In the membership, we have video classes where we guide people through all that. And yeah, it's a pretty emotional experience for them. They do it on their own time and such. And then they pop up and they go, guess what happened? We had a lady the other day who was just like, I can't believe how much I'm crying. And so I'm not even a crier, but I'm just crying. And I'm like, hey, you're releasing. You're releasing. You went down deep there and there's stuff there and it's coming up, you know?
Most healthcare professionals, licensed healthcare professionals would say that that could get into some dicey territory to have people releasing those memories and emotions without having some professional care
Hmm.
nearby in case they need it. Have you run into that?
No,
Okay. Tell us
no,
about
never.
that.
No, because the way I teach it is very clear that this is data. If you understand that it's a computer and there's data and there's an algorithm and there's all this, then there's nothing to fear. If you are sitting there and you have a vision of a monster and you understand my teaching, then you're just going to say, oh, that's data.
Like monsters.com or Monsters Inc. Was that
Monsters Inc.
the
Yeah, great show.
Monsters Inc., like the movies,
That
like the
movie is
Disney movies?
curriculum. It's a great example. Yeah. Yeah, there's no monster. Your mind stores all this, and it can just spill out. And so when you understand it, it takes the fear away.